Hola. Hello, welcome to our Spanish lesson for this week. First of all, you're going to need some equipment to help you with the lesson today. So you're going to need some paper to write on and a pen or a pencil to write with. So if you don't have those in front of you already, pause the video, go and get them, and then press play again when you're ready to continue. So first of all, a starter activity for you. We've got lots of places in town in two columns on the right-hand side just here. And then on the left, lettered A to J, you have some categories. So out of the lists of places, you need to find, for example, letter A, two places of entertainment, letter B, two places of learning, letter C, two places for eating, and so on. So what I would like you to do is pause the video and see if you can find two places for each of those categories. I would recommend that you do A to H first, and then you'll see what you've got left over for I and J. So pause the video now, see what you can find, and press play when you're ready to check. So, are you ready to check your answers? Here they are. So, the two places of entertainment, we have cine and teatro, cinema and theatre. Did you recognise that cognate? Two places of learning, colegio and escuela, both words for school. Two places for eating, cafeteria and restaurante, both very similar to English. Then two places to do sport. The estadio is a stadium, polideportivo is a leisure centre. Then two places with books in, biblioteca, a library, and libreria, which is a bookshop. Then letter F, two places for going shopping. Centro comercial is a shopping centre, and tienda is a shop. And letter G, two places for getting medical treatment. Farmacia, did you work out that that was pharmacy? And hospital, of course, is hospital. Then letter H, two places for travelling. The aeropuerto, you probably guessed, is an airport, and estación was the second one. Then you're left over with four different places. Two of them are masculine, two of them are feminine. So the two masculine places were museo and puente. Puente is the word for a bridge. And the two feminine places, which you could tell were feminine because they end in a, are carniceria for the butchers and plaza. So how did you get on with those? Did you get some for each category? Well done. We're going to use some of those place names, of course, later on. So what we're going to be doing today is practicing some more our 10 forms of transport and also practicing putting them into the sentences to say where in town you go and how you get there. So here are our forms of transport, and we're going to have another practice of saying these. Just remind yourself as we're saying them what it is that they mean, and of course remind yourself how can you remember which two start with a rather than en. So are you ready? Escuchad y repetid. En tren, en tren. En cohete, en cohete. A pie, a pie. En moto, en moto. En avión, en avión. En autobús, en autobús. En barco, en barco. A caballo, a caballo. En coche, en coche. En bicicleta, En bicicleta. So, can you remember what they all mean? So we have by train, by rocket, on foot, by motorbike, by plane. Then the second column, by bus, by boat, on horseback, by car, and by bike or bicycle. Now, can you remember why two of them have a and not n at the beginning? That's it. They're nothing to do with engines or wheels. They go on foot power. So a pie and a caballo are to do with foot power, and so they have a, not n. Let's just try them one more time. Escuchad y repetid. En tren, en cohete, a pie, en moto, en avión, en autobús, en barco, a caballo, en coche, en bicicleta. So let's start looking at how we put those into our sentences. And we looked at this sentence, didn't we, as an example? It says, voy al banco en autobús. Voy al banco en autobús. Can you remember what that sentence means? That's right. I go to the bank by bus. Now we're going to use that sentence there as our example, and we're going to put lots of different transports into it. So we're going to use a spinner, and each time we spin, it's going to give us a different transport, which we're going to fill in to the two gaps in our sentence. Are we ready to see what's going to go into our sentence first? So I go to the bank by rocket. What do we need to fill into our sentence? That's right. En cohete. Voy al banco en cohete. Let's see what the next one's going to be. By bus. So what do we need to put in? Voy al banco en autobús. By train. So what do we need to put into our sentence this time? Voy al banco en tren. On horseback. Can you remember what that one is and why it's different? Voy al banco a caballo. By plane. What do we add now? Voy al banco en avión. By motorbike. What do we need to add into our sentence this time? Voy al banco en moto. There aren't many left now. On foot. I go to the bank on foot. So what do we need to put in? Voy al banco a pie. By bike. So what do we need to add in for this one? Voy al banco en bicicleta. There's only two left now. By boat. So I go to the bank by boat. What do we need to say? Voy al banco en barco. That means there's just one left. By car. How do we say I go to the bank by car? Voy al banco en coche. So remember, in all those sentences that we've just seen, we had the word al, meaning to the. We saw last time, didn't we, that al is actually two little words squished together to make one new word. You've got a for two and el for the. That's what we do with all the masculine places. Remember, you can identify which places are masculine because you will have learned them with un in front. With the feminine ones, though, if you want to say to the, we have two separate words. They haven't got squished together. A, la. So a for to, la for the. And you'll be able to identify the feminine places because they're the ones that you learned that have una at the front. And most of them, of course, will also end with a, just like most of the masculine places will also end with o. So let's have a little practice of what we need to put into our sentences. Here's the first one. We've got a place and we've got a transport. All we have in our sentence is voy for I go. So we need to fill in, first of all, the to the station and then by bus. So how are we going to say to the station? And then how will we put by bus on the end? Can you work that one out? So we need voy a la estación. And by bus, what's that going to be? En autobús. So it's a la estación because it's a feminine place. Let's try the next one. So this time we want to say, I go to the hospital by car. So is hospital, is it a masculine place or a feminine place? How will we say to the? It's al hospital. And how will we say by car? En coche. So voy al hospital en coche. Here's another one. I go to the park by motorbike. So first of all, your word for park, think about, is it masculine or feminine? What do we need? Voy al parque. And how do you say by motorbike? En moto. So voy al parque en moto. And here's one more. I go to the cafe on foot. So that word for cafe, is that a masculine word or a feminine word? Think about how you know which one it is. How will we say to the cafe? Right? A la cafeteria. And then you know it's feminine because it ends with a la cafeteria. And how do we say on foot? It's one of those different ones. A pie. So I go to the cafe on foot. Voy a la cafeteria a pie. So it's time for you to have a go at some writing now. You can see all the vocabulary that you need is down on the side here. You've got all the places that you need and whether they're masculine or feminine, and of course all the transports as well. And you also have an example that's done for you. So have you seen that each one has a place and a transport? So you're going to need to write a sentence saying, I go to this place by this transport. So the example has a picture of a bank and a picture of a car, which means the sentence is voy al banco en coche. And it has to be al before banco because banco is masculine. So you're going to need to check very carefully if the place that you're using is masculine or feminine, and the list tells you which one it is. If it's masculine, you need to put al, and then if it's feminine, you need to put a la before it. And those are right at the bottom of the list as well. So press pause, have a go at those 10 sentences, and then press play again when you're ready to check. So have you had a go at those 10 sentences? Let's have a look at the answers. So number 1, voy al museo en coche. Number 2, voy al colegio en autobús. Number 3, voy al correos en cohete. Make sure you haven't mixed up the spelling of coche and cohete. Number 4, voy a la biblioteca a caballo. That one has to be a la because biblioteca is feminine. Number 5, voy al mercado en tren. You can always press pause here if you want some more time to check. Let's go on to the second lot of 5. So number 6, voy a la cafetería en avión. And it has to be a la here because cafetería is feminine. Number 7, voy al hospital a pie. Number 8, voy al parque en barco. Number 9, voy a la estación en moto. And we've already seen that estación is feminine, so it needs a la. And number 10, voy al supermercado en bicicleta. Again, press pause if you want a bit more time to check. Well done with those sentences today. You're certainly getting the hang of how to say to the place and putting the transport on the end. Adios. See you next time.